Hello, and welcome to Esther's Gardening Adventures. I'm Esther, and today is the first day of spring. And boy, it seems like forever that it took to get here, and yet it's already here, which is awesome and scary because, of course, as any gardener knows, there is a ton to do, and I never quite get through. At least last year I didn't get through all of my lists, but I'm trying to at least get things planted for the cool weather plants that I can. So with that in mind, I'm going to today be prepping one of my backyard part shade beds for my vegetables. And that means it's a square foot bed. It's 4x4. And every year, this will be my first year topping it off, but every year it sinks down a little bit just from pulling out the plants and also just the compost breaking down and turning into nutrients. So I need to kind of top off the bed, and I'll take you outside and show you that in a minute. But first, before I even get to talking about the seeds, let me mention I went to Marshall's today, and I couldn't help it, guys. I couldn't help it. As you can tell, I kind of love gnomes, and I know it's like the trend right now, but they're so cute. And I found this little gnome. Look at him. It's a birdhouse, and it has a way to clean out the bottom. Now, I have no idea if this will actually be useful for birds or not. The hole might be too big that only like a big bird that's a pest will get in it. But I'm certainly going to put this in the front yard, hanging from the Japanese maple that I have. And look at him. Isn't he so cute? He's got a little shovel and a little potted plant and a little flower. And here's the hanging thing. So, yeah, I gotta take the tag off. But yeah, isn't he so cute? Oh my gosh. And then, no, it doesn't stop there. They had like a whole display of gnomes, and I didn't buy every single one, but I did buy quite a few. And then I bought this one, which I'll probably put on my front porch. He's holding a little dragonfly, and he's just so cute. You can see it's kind of already faded. I don't know if that's just crappy painting or... this isn't very heavy. So I'm going to put it in an area that doesn't get too much sun so it doesn't fade. But isn't he cute? Oh my gosh. And then the last thing, and I've already got it dirty, but I can spot clean it. I washed my hands and still, of course, I got dirt on the corner. But look at this pillow. They got the bucket. They got the watering can. Another flower here. Aren't they so cute? And look, where's the dirt I got on? Oh yeah, over here. I have to clean it. But still, I'm so excited. It's so cute. And I think I'm going to keep it on the couch for now. And then my bed has sort of like pastels color, like a peachy color. So I think I'm going to put it on the bed for the rest of the spring and summer. But isn't it so cute? All right. Now back to the business at hand. So let me show you first what my plan is for the bed. So if this is your first time hearing about square foot gardening, I am by no means the authority. And I'm even going to tell you that I'm not going by the exact formula Mel Bartholomew, the founder of Square Foot Gardening, has. He recommends 1 part compost, and that compost should have at least 3 different composts in it. And I did follow that. 1 part, it's 3 parts, a mix. 1 part coconut coir or peat moss, and 1 part perlite or coarse vermiculite. And I did mix in a good amount of perlite, which you'll see in a minute, and 3 types of compost, but I didn't have enough peat moss. I have some in the front yard, but I just was too lazy to take it to the backyard. And since I'm topping it off, I'm a little less worried about it keeping the moisture on the bottom levels because that has the right mix. So lazy / experimental / caution to the wind means don't follow everything that I do, but at least you can see I'll be showing you how I string up the bed once I have it topped off so that it has 1 square foot shapes in it. All right, but first let's get to what I'm going to be planting. Sugar snap peas. I do need to set up some trellising also in that bed, but I grew both shelling peas and sugar snap peas last year, and the shelling peas were tasty, but I feel like for the amount I can grow in my small space, I just didn't get enough to really make it worth it. But with sugar snap peas, you can go out and eat them right there. They don't have to be brought indoors. You can throw them in a salad, all kinds of ways to use them. So and I have plenty left from the packet I had last year. So that's this one. Then the Mizuna Isn't that gorgeous? I just can't wait to have that grow. And I'm actually going to succession plant these. So I'm only going to plant, I think, half of the space I'm planning on using for these at first. And then I think they take 30 to 50 days to mature. So being that they'll be in a part shade area, they'll probably take 60 plus days to mature and 5 to 10 days to emerge. So we can expect probably close to 10 because the sunlight doesn't really matter to them when it comes to the emerging part. And then this is the spinach, and it's called Monstro de Vireflay. Yeah, I butchered that, I'm sure. But these are gourmet French heirloom that was developed prior to 1866. Big, smooth, deep green leaves, 10 inches long, very fast growing plant. So that appealed to me, the fast growing part. And these are all frost hardy plants. So that means that they can handle me planting it now and it getting cold, as long as it isn't a deep freeze. And I will be having covers like frost cloths available to cover them if we do get a deep freeze. All right, so now let's get outside and start prepping that bed. The first thing I need to do is, before I get to planting, is I need to see how much the soil has sunk, both from taking out plants, but also just over time, compost and these raised beds, that it compresses. And it's compressing so much that it's close enough, it's shallow enough, my finger just barely, so it's 3 inches deep right now. And that means it's close enough for other plants to get through. So I need to get them out. And then I need to build up the soil. And you'll notice I have these, you actually can see a piece of string hanging off this. I have these, they're not very safe, but I have every foot a nail sticking out. And I use that to set up the string for my grid, and I'll show you once I have the soil mixed. But this is a 4x4 bed, and I'm going to do a mixture of, I like to use at least 3 composts. I have 4 here. I don't think I will need all 4 bags, but I may use half of one and half of another to try to get at least all 4 types in there. And the reason you use multiple types of compost, is that each provides a different sort of type of nutrient mix, and at least this is what I've read. And so having multiple types of compost, if you can swing it, really helps make sure that everything the plants need is there. I would love to use coconut coir, but I have not been able to find it locally for a reasonable price. So I have some leftover peat moss. I'm going to have to buy some more peat moss and mix it in later, but I'll use what's left of that. I have another one in the front yard, but I'm just not going to get it today. And then this is a half a bag of perlite I had left in the shed that I pulled out that I'm also going to mix in. Couple more notes. I'm not worried about it being slightly bigger or higher than the edges of the bed, because technically when you put all these ingredients in, you're supposed to moisten them first. But I didn't last year, and it turned out just fine. So I know next time it rains, this will sink down some. So I'm not that worried about it. Also, when I go to plant out the squares, I'm going to be flattening down the soil quite a bit to be able to plant the seeds in an even way. So this is kind of what it looks like when I mixed it. I definitely need to add some more moisture retaining stuff like the peat moss, but I'm not as worried about that part because this backyard, although it does get hot, it is a part shade area, so the soil just doesn't get dry quite as fast as in the front yard. So I'm a little less worried about that at this moment. I definitely will have to add some more before I plant up the seeds, but I probably won't. I may have to add more before my second batch of vegetables. All right, so now I'm going to put the string on. All right, so there you go. The bed is all set up. The string will break down like it did last year over time. But now it is set up for me to be able to do my square foot gardening and know the measurements of how many to put inside of each square. The other advantage of these nails is that my very lazy fencing involves, see, I have these around this, and then I put them in this hole, and it wraps all the way around. It's kind of tangled up at the moment. I gotta fix it, but I can latch, I'll show you here. I can latch the bottom of this fence over this and have it pretty low so that the squirrels and rabbits can't really get in that easy. So it does a pretty good lazy job of fencing in the bed from squirrels and also my dogs, who, if there isn't a fence, they're gonna walk through it. Oh yeah, they don't care. All right, so it's the next morning. I ran out of time yesterday to plant the seeds. You might have noticed it was getting dark when I did the video. And so I just watered down the beds to make sure they're plenty moist and kind of has sunk down as much as they're likely to, at least to the beginning. And now I'm gonna use that wonderful square foot measuring tool. Ooh. This thing. I'm going to use this in each of these squares that I've measured out to do my seeds. So let's get to it. So the first thing I do is I need to open up my journal, find the page that I had that drawing on. Yeah. And now, so I know I was going to do a Simpson lettuce there. It goes like this. 4 mustards here, 3 peas, and then spinach on that end. So that means I'm not going to do all of my mustards, so I think I'll save the 2 in the middle for later, and I will succession planting. So it says 4 black-seeded Simpson lettuces go here, and I do have some in a container, but they're not quite big enough to transplant yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on putting direct seeds in the soil. Good. Should have brought a towel out to dry my hands. So 4. Oh, let's see, it was black seeded. Oh, I didn't bring the Simpson lettuce. I'll have to do that another time. I did bring the spinach. Now, if you can't measure, you could certainly use this to figure out where the middle of the square is, but visually, you know, I mean, you don't really have to be a genius to kind of know where the middle of a big square is. So all I need to do is I am going to put 2 seeds in, or maybe I'll put 3 seeds in, and then I will thin it out afterwards, because, you know, they could get blown away, they could get moved, a bird could come and get one but not the other. So why didn't I bring a towel out with me? Lesson 2, bring a towel with you if you need to open up a packet that you haven't opened up before. All right. Oh, there was already a loose seed here. No escaping seeds. These seeds are relatively small. As you might expect, they're the size of a mustard seed. I'm going to put 3. There's 3 in this hand, in each. Cover it up, and since I already sprayed the soil, I don't think I need to spray it again. I might do it one more time at the end, but right now, okay. So we got our mustard seed planted up, and now let's do the peas. Let's do the pea plants. Now I have a bit of a dilemma because for this corner, I have this thing in the way, but I can go a little bit past the square, or I can actually just leave it like this and go around it. So I'm gonna do 9 peas. That means I'm gonna do the yellow holes, and that's fine because it actually fits just fine. Oops. Don't get stuck. Pull up the dirt. Alright. There's the peas. I'm going to do 2 per hole in case they don't sprout. Since this packet is a 2020 packet or a 2019 packet. There we go. And I'm actually going to leave these other peas sitting here because they got wet, and I'm going to end up needing to sew another container, another square anyway. Alright. Well, that's all there is to it, guys. Alright, now let me get to sewing up the rest of the row of peas. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. If you did, please hit, if you've enjoyed it, please hit that like button. And if you aren't already a subscriber, please consider doing so. And make sure you have that bell hit so you get alerts notified whenever I post new content. And otherwise, I'll see you next time. Happy spring.